All right, Doc, so I'm going to show you the X-ray system that we use and start with just inputting the patient information. A lot of times the team member will come in and do this ahead of time. But if you look up here, we have the patient ID. We'll fill that in, last name, first name, obviously date of birth, and whether they're a male or female. Down here, the only thing we need to click on is referring physician, which will be me, institution, which will be Academy Injury and Health Center, and then the date should self-populate. Every once in a while, for some reason, the system won't self-populate the correct date, and you just have to change that before you finish or before you go on. When you're done with all this, just click on Finish and Scan, and it'll take us to the next field. Let me just put in a fake name. Okay, so now we get to this screen, and this is where you get to choose what region of the body you're going to work on. So let's say we're doing cervical. You just click on the neck. It's pretty easy. You'll see cervical spine will pop up. Click that, and that gives you different fields. Generally, in most cases, 99% of the time, I'm just doing 2 shots of a region, whether it be cervical, thoracic, or lumbar, and usually just doing AP and laterals on them. So we'll click AP, which pulls this screen up now. So at that point, I can go over to the machine itself. And as you can see right now, that's set up for lumbar spine. So we click where it says APR at the bottom. All right. If you click it twice, that now pulls up your different regions of the body that you can x-ray. So then we can click on the appropriate button for cervical spine. And then we can click on the appropriate button over here for AP. And then we're set to go. Now, when we take the film, I'm going to show her this.
Make sure it has no Bucky.
Let me go this way. There's a good point. Often this will come up and you'll see that. Okay, so you just have to keep pushing until you get to the point where it says no Bucky. Also down here, you'll see 12 inches. Well, actually, let's go to this, the one at the bottom. Because if you notice, you have 3 body types. We don't really have to measure anymore because everything's digital. So you just kind of estimate based on the individual. Obviously, a large person would be the last one. Most males are going to fall into the last one. Most females will be between either the second or the third person. It's very rare that I ever use the first person, to be honest with you. So based on body types, you'll estimate, second or third. Let's say we're dealing with big male. Then we can still manipulate the findings or the settings a little bit. So that, okay, so we have a big male. We're shooting his neck, but he's got a thick neck. So now I can increase the centimeters by clicking on this button and then turning the wheel. You can see this wheel right here. So you can see that it increases to 17. That's the largest it's going to allow me to increase to. But I can also manipulate my milliseconds up here by clicking on this button. So I can move that up or down, depending. So if we have a real thick male, we'll go up to 80. We can increase our milliamps if we need to. And we can also increase our volts, rather, if we need to. Every once in a while, you'll hear the system beep. Okay, and that means if you see at the very bottom there's a sign or a notice that says exceed tube limit. At that point, you just go down to the next setting and you're okay. All right, so let's just say we're doing our films on this individual, and the way we do it is button on the left is your warm-up button. So you're going to press that. You'll see it light up. Once it lights up in green, that means you're ready to take the x-ray, and while you're still holding the button on the left, you push down the actual exposure buttons. So I'm going to show you right now. So we're going to go push in. I usually tell the patient breathing instructions. Once it's ready, then we push the second button, and that's it. Once you hear the beep, you know it's taking the picture. Now what we do is come over here, go up to the screen, click on this box here, and it's going to now pull the image right to the computer screen. So obviously we're not going to see anything because we didn't take a picture of anything. But had we taken a real x-ray, your x-ray would be popping up on the screen right now, so you can kind of get a quick look at it. And before you move on to the next film. And we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so let's just assume we took an AP of the cervical region. I'm happy with the way it looks. So at that point, we can click down here where it says add view. And now we're going to go in and we're going to do a lateral film on this patient. So click lateral, and then we come back over here. Now we're going to go back to the APR at the bottom. If we click that once, we then pick up our different views. Since we already did the AP, we're going to move to the lateral / oblique. Click on that. Now if you notice up top here, it doesn't say no Bucky, so we have to click on that until it says no Bucky. And then we're going to come down here because again we're dealing with a large male. We're going to click on there, third body type, and we're going to increase the centimeters as much as we can, and I'll probably increase my milliseconds and my kilovolts a little bit too. All right, so once again, we are now ready to take the lateral picture. So we just press here, ready to go. As soon as you hear that beep, you know it's done. And then we come back up here again, and you can press on this box one more time. And again, that'll pull up the lateral film. So you pretty much repeat that process. Let's just say on this patient, now we needed to take lumbar x-rays. If you look down here, once again, we're going to go back to the APR button. We'll push on there twice, and that'll pull up the body regions. So now we're going to go up to lumbar spine, push on there. We'll go AP, push on there. And once again, you can see up in this top box, it didn't go to a no Bucky. So click on there until we get to no Bucky. We'll come back down to the body type, again, large males. So we're going to set them up there. Again, we're going to adjust the centimeters as high as we can on this individual. Bring it, if you can zoom in on this too. If you notice, not so much right about there. If you notice, when you adjust the centimeters, you also see the parameters up top adjust for that. So we'll set it at the highest, and then you can still, if you think you still need to tweak it, you can do it a little bit more up there. So that's pretty much how you work this system. As far as the actual